Hey, welcome to Graphic Policy Television, GPTV. I'm Brett. In my hands is one of this week's releases. It's Fantastic Four Grand Design #1. It's attempting to do what Marvel had done with the X-Men Grand Design. That was done by Ed Piskor. This is done by Tom Scioli. Mixing over my words here. And overall, it's okay. I really, I think, enjoyed the X-Men version way more than Fantastic Four. So what this does, what the Grand Design series is kind of like, it's sort of the Cliff's Notes version of these characters, taking you through their history. This is pre-Fantastic Four being created, up until just before Galactus shows up. And it's starts off decent. What's interesting is, like, the further along the issue goes, the less time it spends on various events in Fantastic Four life. So some of the earlier stuff, it feels like things go on for maybe a page, like multiple panels, quite a while is given to it, and at some point it feels like one panel is just given to like an entire history or event with like no explanation. The storytelling gets really, really choppy. And having read some of Tom Scioli's stuff in the past, it's kind of his style, and sometimes it works, and sometimes it doesn't. This issue it really, really doesn't. There's where X-Men, I think, Grand Design was interesting is that it gave some insight into the X-Men. It tried to boil them down to like really like their history and what made them tick, and kind of like what was the important stuff during this time periods. This, I came away walking around going like, the Sue Reed relationship is really toxic. Sue comes off as an asshole. The Submariner is again an asshole. Like, there's just, everyone just comes off really bad with this. It's just not, it's not enjoyable. And the fact is, there's points where it's just kind of incoherent going through various time periods, because it's just not enough panels are used to explain. It's not all bad. So there's this interesting style. It kind of looks like, at times, I feel like I should be putting my 3D glasses on, and other times it just feels like kind of like an old comic as far as like faded and the ink. So there's some kind of neat stuff with that. There's also some really interesting use of panels. See up here, there's like pages with almost 20 panels on it, which is kind of insane for a comic book. So again, there's a lot that's interesting to it. It just doesn't feel like it has that narrative oomph that the X-Men version did of it. So yeah, like it already kind of feels like the fad is fading. Like, it's just kind of come and gone as far as quality of comics as a whole, of this kind of like concept. So the Grand Design, the original X-Men, I think felt like it had kind of it was an essay being done. This feels like someone just kind of taking history, making panels, and slapping it all together and being like, here's the history, which we're already seeing is the history of Marvel Universe, which I think is just a much better version of this version of Grand Design. So unless you're a really hardcore fan of Fantastic Four or Tom Scioli, this is one that you can skip. It's $5.99. It's an extra thick comic, and there's some cool stuff in there, but overall it felt like a chore towards the end. Can't recommend this. Sorry. It's out in comic shops now. You can go get it. There's a link beneath this video. Put in your zip code to tell the shops near you. No shop, no problem. We do have affiliate links. There are affiliate links, so we do get a small percentage, but really you should go support your shop. Speaking of support, I want to thank Marvel for hooking us up with this review copy. We always appreciate it, and thank you for watching. Now, if you're into Marvel, if you're into Fantastic Four, comics in general, check us out every single day at graphicpolicy.com, or on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Tumblr, all at Graphic Policy, keeping it nice and consistent. So until next time, keep reading those comics and keep it geeky. Hey, thanks for watching the previous video from Graphic Policy Television. Just by watching, you help support our site. Thank you so much. Now, if you're watching these videos, you probably care about geeky things like movies, television, comic books, toys, games, video games, you name it. You can go and subscribe right now to our YouTube channel to stay in touch and catch all the new videos, or check out our website at graphicpolicy.com. There's a nice link on this end of the video. But as always, thank you for watching. Keep on rocking and keep it geeky.